Hello everyone and welcome back to RedHawks Weekly, on location here at beautiful Newman Outdoor Field on a sunshine day, just the way Eric likes it. Joined by Eric Peterson as always from the forum. I'm Jody Norstedt with WDAY. This is Ty Kelley, a relief pitcher for the Fargo-Moorhead RedHawks in his first season with the RedHawks. And let's get started with the Hawks start out this week pretty well with a 3-2 win over Winnipeg on Monday. Obviously things haven't gone right this season, but it's nice to get that win out of the way against a rival.
Well, one thing that has been going right, and especially recently, is pitching. I mean, the starter Taylor Stanton gave him 6 quality innings in the beginning of this series, even though it wasn't his sharpest, gave up some hits. The bullpens have been good on the backhand with guys like Ty. So I think the RedHawks are thinking if they can generate some offense and the pitching continues on the path it is right now, this team could make a little run here.
Ty, obviously it's been a little bit of a disappointing season, but as Eric and I mentioned, it's nice to beat Winnipeg, especially we know that tempers have flared a few times between these two teams, so I'd imagine nice to get a close win against them.
Oh, anytime you can get the first win of the series is always huge, and especially against a rival like Winnipeg, and just to build that momentum to carry over to the next 3 games. So hopefully we can get the win today, and go ahead and get the series in our favor. So
sitting here on the mound or standing here on the mound and looking at this ballpark is kind of a cool perspective, but you get to see this every time you're out here. What do you think about Newman Outdoor Field? It's your first year here at the RedHawks. What do you think about this ballpark?
Man, I love it. We were talking last night about how much the mound's probably the best one in the league, and just standing out here and seeing the fans that we have, the support, and the support system of just everybody out there is just unreal. You get out here and you're zoned in, and it's a great feeling.
This is a guy from Auburn University. Pretty cool, pretty more of a football school probably than you think. But you've been down in that area a few times, football games and stuff like that. You got any questions for this guy?
Well, I was just down there this spring, a beautiful baseball facility. Everyone knows about the football rivalry. Is it that way in baseball, Ty?
It is. All the teams, in the SEC, it's every day, game in and game out. You just have to be ready to play, and everybody's pretty much a rivalry when you start the season and get into the SEC play.
Did you get a chance to, was there a lot of crossover of football players? Was there some Jameis Winston stuff going on down there, guys who played football, who played baseball when you were there at Auburn?
We had a few guys. We had some guys that came and tried out, and they'd always just hit on the field. And Cam came out there a few times, and it was awesome to see those guys just put balls into the seats. They just show the athletic ability they have. They can do all things.
You played with a couple of big-name guys. I think Josh Donaldson was there still when you were there, a freshman maybe?
He was. I was a freshman. He was my catcher, and he was he was one of the most fun people to be around. Just everything. He played third. He actually got drafted as a catcher, and so he caught 2 days, and then he'd play third on Sundays. So it was pretty sweet.
Well, you also mentioned Cam Newton. Did he get on the mound at all? And if he did, what was his fastball looking like?
He never got on the mound. We always tried to get him out there, but he would never do that. I guess they don't want to do something to his arm because he was too much right on his career. So
well, we're going to take a look at some of the pitching here. Before we do that, just want to give you a quick look at the standings. The RedHawks obviously 13-31 in the bottom of this division, but I don't know, is there still time to make a run, or is time kind of running out and you're just hoping for a solid finish to the season?
Well, I just don't think you can look at it like you got to win 20 in a row to get back into it. I just think you got to go game by game and plug away, and maybe the team wins 5 out of 6, 7 out of 8, and gets a streak like that and slowly climbs into it, and maybe something happens. But I just don't think you can look at it as a RedHawks player like, wow, we're this far behind. So I just think you plug away. Maybe you get a hot streak. Maybe the stuff that went against them, like I think they're 5-11 in one-run games this year, 1-15 in games they've scored first. Maybe those stats start, going back to normal, and they get closer to that 500 mark and go from there.
Well, I've never pitched in my life. Maybe Ty Kelley can help us figure out some things on the mound and maybe teach me a thing or two. We'll see. That's right now. Well, now we're going to learn how to pitch with Ty Kelley. And Ty, how many pitches do you have? First off, we'll start with that.
First off, let's see. I got a 4-seam fastball, a 2-seam fastball, a changeup, and a slider.
What's your favorite?
Favorite's the changeup.
Okay, kind of take me through what each pitch does and how you form your hand on the ball when you're getting ready to release it. For some of those guys that don't know how to pitch, myself included.
So first off, you got the 4-seam fastball, usually right here, and what you want to get the backspin on it so you get more straight. Usually the 4-seam. So And then get the two-seam fastball, get a little more movement on it. Usually with the two-seam, you're trying to get the ground balls, try to get down in the zone, try to get them to hit it in the ground. And so then you got the slider, try to go on the seam right here. And when you get the slider, you're just trying to get around it right here. So you get that, create that action. And then my go-to is the circle change right here. And I go pretty loose and just try to, the big thing is just pronating. You just want to get like pronation, is just get pretty much, I think these two fingers right here is I'm pointing, getting these as far extended as I can and pointing them straight at the ground. So.
Did you know you always wanted to be a pitcher?
I did. You know, I love having the ball and being the guy on the mound that has the, you know, you're in control of the game and having that power. You know, everybody's watching you, everybody's, you know, waiting for you to throw that pitch.
I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about that because, okay, you're standing on the mound and you got, well, actually, we should bring this up. The RedHawks just signed Zach Wright, your catcher that's played with you in the past, and they just signed him this past week. How cool is that? Man, it's awesome. It's great. I've been driving him around, showing him around Fargo, and he loves it. But you know, he's a guy that, like, usually when you get a catcher that's caught you before and he knows your game and knows like what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, what you like to throw, like where you like to throw it, and he, you know, in the past he's called a great game for me, and he knows what my out pitch is, what my go-to is, and it's nice to have somebody that knows that and has that experience, you know, that he was in AA and has that experience and he's here for a reason, obviously, you know, to help us win. Being a guy that comes out of the bullpen, when you get that call to come out here onto the mound, what's kind of running through your head?
You know, first off, you're trying to see what batters on deck, who you're going to face, you know, if it's a righty or lefty. But, you know, the best feeling in the world is when you come out of that bullpen, you know, your adrenaline, everything, it's like, you know, it's just, you can't explain it. And it's just the best feeling running on that mound. And, you know, when you step on the rubber and you're looking at home plate and seeing all these fans, these great fans we have, it's one of the best feelings you can have.
How about take us through, I mean, is it different when you see a different batter come up? Do you have different things in your mind that are running, okay, this guy does this guy does that, or is it different in minor league ball?
Well, you know, our bullpen catcher down there has like a sheet, and he has each guy, you know, what their strengths are, like what they've done earlier in the game. So when we come in the game, you know, they've already had 2 or 3 at bats, so you can kind of see if they're aggressive on the first pitch, or if they're, you know, if they like to take the first pitch, or, you know, so you kind of prepare and kind of plan to see what their action's going to be, so you can kind of know, you know, oh, I can throw this here and get ahead. And and then some guys, you know, you've played in the past that know, you know, they might know you a little better, so you kind of pitch a little different and kind of backwards what you think that they think you're doing. So.
Cool. How about I mean, kind of walk us through when you're getting ready to pitch. Kind of just take us through. Obviously, don't throw the ball at me, but kind of show me what you do on the mound when you're throwing a pitch.
So first off, you know, you get on the mound, get in the game, and I'll go from the wide, or stretch this time. I'm a big, I'll just get a deep breath. So I come set, take a deep breath. Hopefully there's no runners on base, obviously. So you're sitting there, get a good balance. Balance is real keys. You want to get that everything loaded. And it's kind of the same thing, you know, with hitting. You always want to get everything in the backside loaded. So everything's here, good balance, good stride, a little tilt right here. When I tuck my glove, everything's coming, everything's in order right here, because you want to be right over your knee. So everything's right here, even. And then you get that good extension all the way through. Key pitching is, like, the 2 things are huge, are getting the balance and the extension. Those are the 2 biggest things for me. With each catcher, like growing up, you always have that saying, like, your catchers, if you're kind of in a little struggling, kind of not getting the full, you know, throwing balls or something, and the catcher needs to come out and say something to you, you always have that key word. You want to let them know what to tell you if you're struggling, and mine's always been get that extension. So just big getting that, remember that balance, extension, through the catcher. So everything you're always trying to get, I always try to throw the ball through the catcher's mitt. Just everything you have, just through it.
All right, Ty, appreciate it as always. And any other helpful tips for young pitchers out there?
You know, I work a lot of baseball lessons back home, and my little nephew too. I always tell him, you know, whenever you're on the mound, you just believe that guy that steps in the box, that he can't touch you. That no matter if it's Mike Trout or you know, Mickey Mantle, it's you trust your stuff, and whatever you have and your ability, you trust each pitch, and one pitch at a time, and just do your thing.
We appreciate it, Ty, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
As Ty Kelley, Jody Norstedt saying, see you next week on RedHawks Weekly. Weekly.